All right, hello everyone. I'm Gaurav, your TA for the DSC 101 class, and today we're going to be discussing some things about the week 2 class, which is about the cause and effect in basic Python. So at the first, it's just cause and effect, a bunch of theoretical knowledge that it's pretty good for you guys to learn. Just go through the slides once or twice, and you should be good. But in the later parts of the slide, if you see, uh, I think it should be somewhere around here, Python. I know like some of you said you were good in Python in class, some have never used, some just did print hello world. But we're gonna start from programming in Python because it's the easiest language I think to learn, and I think it's gonna help you the most because transitioning out of Python is pretty easy. In higher classes, you study Java, which is if you have the basic concepts, it's kind of similar. Alright. So, without any delay, give me one moment. I will figure out a way so I could do this like that. Yeah. All right. So, I'm just going to be coding a little bit today, giving you a basic introduction to Python. Of course, there are people who are better than me who do this job. So, without any further delay, let's get started. And I hope you guys will find this video helpful. It's just the first of the series. I'll be making these kind of videos every day, each week about what we cover in class. And yeah, let's get started. So, first of all, if you don't have Python, just go ahead and download the Python. Make sure when you download, there'll be a thing that's called is like add Python to path. Make sure you enable this, the settings, and then you should be good. So now I think let me use a command prompt. You don't have to do this. You could use either one of your IDEs. I also recommend using online GDB if you don't have any. Just go over here, select Python and print hello world. And if you just run it, it will run over here. Another one like the same one is rebel.it. A very good, you can even share the code with others and build and stuff. I also built a Discord bot using rebel.it. So it's pretty good. Yeah, because it has a Python script that you can run with a URL. So if you have something you want to run automatically over time and again collect some data maybe, rebel.is what you go for. Of course, you can create your own. I'm not saying, but that's standard. It's easier to the it's already built, so why not? All right, I'm not gonna be doing this. I'm just gonna be. I think it's called projects. So I'm gonna go in my projects folder and let's see. I think I named it DSC 101 dash videos. All right, DSC 101 dash videos, and then I'm just gonna open it in my Visual Studio Code. So this is an IDE, that means an development engine. I don't know the full form. Let's learn it together. What's the full form of an IDE? What's the full form of IDE? It is Integrated Development Environment. So basically, it's Python, HTML, whatever you can do. So let me create a new file. Let's say first file .py. Python will have that .py extension. I could also do, let's say, index.html. And you know a funny thing with HTML, if I just do this, it will create, if I just do that, it will create it. And let's say if I do over here, I'm just gonna do hello, you can open with live server, and then you can see that it will print hello. But this is not what we're doing. If you are interested, this class is called web development. We're going to be using Python for now. So let's get started with S. This is comments. So if I write print hello world, it's the first thing that you will ever do. I'm going to run it over here. It's going to be printing hello world in the terminal. But if I add a hash in front of it, it's going to comment and it's not going to print it. See? It's not printing the hello world. It's just printing this thing, whatever this is. It's not printing anything. But if I remove that, it's gonna be printing, and it works one for each line. Now let's say I have the same code over here, and I wanna comment out a little bit because maybe it got stuck in production or something. So what I could do is I could do hash on each one, right? But if there's like, let's do hash, hash, but this is gonna take a lot of time for all of them, right? So there is another thing in Python. I think if you do three dots, and if you end it with three dots as well, this is also a comment or a string. You can just, it'll just block it out. So if you run it now, see, it'll not work. It's not a comment per se, it's just a way to store it as a string, but it works as a comment as well. All right, so now let's go over the first thing in Python. That's gonna be our variables. I'm so bad at typing, I'm sorry. Variables and data types. The first variable, we call it integer, or basically whatever is the number thing. All right. So let's say your age of the student, one of the students is 25. Let's say a price is $19. Let's say the number of students who watch this video and get an A is the percentage of student who was this video and get an A in this class is 100%. And let's say, so these are basic just numbers, right? So these are called integers. But there is something that's called a float. What is float? Let's say the temperature is 100.2. See, there is something after the decimal point. Let's say the price is 19.9. Let's say the name. Oh, I'm sorry, not name. So these are the basic examples of float. And by this, it can be as much digits as we want. Although if you want to store a lot of digits, there are other data types that you have to learn as well. But for now, it should be good. Another one is string. So let's say your name. It's a string. So I'm gonna print, let's say I'm gonna print the age. I'm gonna print the temperature. And if you hit, if it suggests you and if you hit tab, it's gonna give you the first result. So if I run this, it should give me 25. That's for age, which is associated to 25. 100.2, which is temperature, and Alice, which is the name. So these are the basic types of variables in, let's say, Python. So now there is, I'm gonna click another file. I'm just gonna call it string.py. So learning strings. So let's say greeting is equals to hello world. I'm so sorry, I should not be having that over here. Okay, now I'm just gonna do print greeting. So what am I supposed to get? Greeting is, okay, I'm just gonna write here 1, 2, 3 so that we don't get confused. Hello world 1, 2, 3. It's getting printed over here, right? That's what we want to get. That's what we want. Now there is something called adding strings, right? Or concatenating strings. So let's say just for example, let's say take a number b is equals to 3, c is equals to a plus b, print c. I'm just gonna remove that for now. If I do print c, it's printing 3. But what happens if I make them strings? Let's say, for example, is hello, b is again. Pause a moment, think what the output is. Yeah, so if you thought hello again, it's right. See, it doesn't leave any space in between, it just adds them together, you know. But if I had a space here, it would be good. But normally we don't do that. Normally what I recommend is do plus, get a space over here, and then plus b. So now it will be hello again, proper. Because you might want to reuse it, and if you get adding a white space, then there's some kind of there might be some problems in the future. This is, I recommend this, but up to you, it's whatever you want. Now repeat. Let's say your string, I'm gonna call it string, is ha. All right, let's do print string. I'm gonna remove everything so far, even this. I don't know why I'm getting a line. Is this because uh, doesn't matter. So ha, right? But what if I wanted ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha, right? So I'm gonna multiply that by 5 and it's gonna repeat 5 times. That's it, that's simple as that. Other languages you would have to do too much. Another thing that we want to do is print string. I'm so sorry for this. I got a new keyboard, that's why I'm messing stuff up. Okay, so if you use this kind of brackets and if you do 0, what do you think it's gonna print? This is our string. The ha 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 is our string. It's gonna print the first letter of the string. So remember, string, arrays, whatever, whenever you're coding, everything begins with a 0. So let's say our string is, let's say, data, right? That's our string. This D is in position 0, A is in position 1, T is in position 2, and A is in position 0, 1, 2, 3. All right? We need to understand this. Now, there is one more thing that we could do that is called finding the length. And we use this len function, put a bracket, and we just do string. And we run it 10. So it says there's 10 characters over here. All right? A funny thing happens when you do it by negative. So string, but if I did 1, I would get an A. I would get the second A over here of the ha ha ha. But if I did a -1, it's gonna start from the very back. So what I'm gonna just do hard, I made a random later. So if I did 1 here, I would get the A from the hard F's, the A later. But if I did a -1 over here, I get an S. I get the last letter that's present over there. The last letter that's present over there. So you get me? If you do a -1, you will get the opposite one. Now I'm just gonna do some copy and pasting of codes. There's one more thing that you could do, uh, which is called this is called slicing. So 0 to 5. So it's gonna start from 0. It's gonna get the first element. It's gonna get the second element. It's gonna get the third element. It's gonna get the fourth element, and it stops. If it's the fifth element, it stops and it slices that, and we got hard day. The first four things. One, two, three. First five things. I'm sorry, because it starts with 0. Also, you could skip it a little bit. Let's say, I'm sorry, this was from my previous class. All right, so if you do this, it's going to start from 7 till the end of time. But if you do this, it's going to start from the 0th index up to the 7th index. All right. So I think there is a thing called W3 Schools Python slicing. Here we go over here. Try yourself, try this yourself, do all of this by yourself, and you would be a junior software developer or a Python engineer for sure. All right. Next things, there are a lot of string methods you can do. I'm just telling you this because uh, it is very fun to work with strings, and even in your harder classes, basic string manipulation is what is done the most. Now over to the main thing that we are doing is if statements. So let's say our temperature is 30 today, and let's say this is the syntax that we need to learn. If the temperature is greater than 25, then it's going to print it's a hot day. Is the temperature greater than 25? Yes, because 30 is greater than 25. So if I run this, it is a hot day. What if we have multiple conditions, right? We could just, if there's just two conditions, we could use an else statement over here. Remember, this line and the line of the else should be together. It's called indentation. You'll probably make a few mistakes towards indentation at this course or any of your programming course because it is, in fact, we forget that a lot. But if you have a good habit of writing code, you need to figure out how to write indent a code properly as well. So I run it. It's a cool day because temperature is 18. Now you can also do, now you might think this will have everything that is greater than 25, but what if I want it to be 25? I'm going to add an equals to here. All right. Now, I think this is pretty good, but there is one more thing. What if there is more than two situations, right? So in that case, our elif statement will come to play. So if the temperature is more than 25, it's a hot day. If it's less than 15, it's a warm day. I'm so sorry. If it's more than 25, it's a hot day. If it's more than 15, it's a warm day. And if it's in between them, because either it's more than 25 or either it's if it's less than 15, then we'll go to this else statement. So let's see. First, let's put 26 over here. What do you think? 26 is more than 25, so it's a hot day. And remember, when it executes one if statement, it will not go to the elif statements or the else statements, all right? But it's gonna go chronologically from top to bottom. All right. What if it is 24? If it's 24, it's a warm day because it's more than 15. All right. And what if it's less than 15? In our situation, it is, let's say, 11. Ah, we wish to be in 11. It's a cool day. All right. So this is it. That's all you need to know about if and else and elif statements. Follow the slides. Of course, there are a lot of things in slides that you need to learn. See, follow these common operators. You can add and subtract. You can do remainder as well. Variables, examples, and then if you go down enough, oh, I'm so sorry. We just did up to integers and data types, text and string. We just covered that as well. Also, these are the symbols that we could do in the if statement as well. Also, one more thing to know. There is something called a Boolean data type that I should talk to you about. Let's say 2 is greater than 3. Is that right or wrong? That's false, right? But what if 2 is, I put this the other way around, then it means true. So a Boolean will have two values, either true or false. That's it. It's like the bits and stuff where 1 is true, 0 is false. I'm gonna let you guys do the discussion questions. It's pretty basic. Every value has a type. Go for it as well. Now we're gonna work on arrays and list, and what else is there over here? Okay, arrays and list and should be good. Okay. The last part of this video, I'm gonna cover arrays. Let's say I'm working on collecting your grades or whatever you score in the first quiz in this class. Let's say scores, right? I'm just gonna, I don't want the names of people. I just want to find an average score. What do you guys score? So for that, I need to have all the scores. So in order to get an array, I'm gonna first make a bracket over here. And inside this, if I want to store string, I'm just gonna do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's print the scores. And we're gonna be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we have. In case I want to store your name as well, so I'm gonna make the list. I'm gonna say Jacob, Joey, let's say Raj, let's say Jimmy, four names. And if I do print name, Jacob, Joey, so it's gonna print this. Now, if you go through these slides over here, you would see a lot of different stuff that you could do with list, that you could do with arrays. Just read this once, or if you don't like reading this, read over here. See, read all the strings. There is a thing called lists. Read this. You're gonna use it. Okay? Now, let's see what else is in the slide first. Anything if that's important. So you guys can figure this out. It's pretty easy. At least if you an append, it'll add at the very end. If you remove, you need to learn how to pop. What's the difference between pop and remove? It's up to you guys to figure out as well. I'll just go through this slide, but basically they are both removing. One removes based on the value and one removes based on the index. Remember, we talked about index starts from 0 and goes along. So pop is the one that helps us remove with the index, and remove is the one that removes with the value. All right. Now we can do this kind of things over here. We can use these sorts of functions. Functions are something like this. Let's say I wanted to create a function. Let's say add. If I get two numbers, I'm just gonna return the sum of those two numbers. Why are gonna use this function instead of just doing it regularly? The main benefit is we can reuse the function a lot. And in higher classes, you will learn about recursion and stuff. It's even better. It gets better, trust me. So I'm gonna print, I'm gonna call the add function, and I'm gonna add 2 and 4. See, 8, it added it. I could have just done print add 2 plus 4, but this would help me reuse the code again and again so that I get added a lot of different. I could just call it one more time to add 6 as well, and I'm calling it twice over there. That's the main benefit of using user. And these are just pre-built functions. There are two types. Either you make them or they are built in. So these are the things that you make. They are already made, and they are the description of that and some more. And I think that should be it. Make sure you follow this slide along. I recommend the W3 schools if it's your first time learning Python. It's very good. Of course, if you have any questions, just email me. And lastly, don't forget to read the theory part over here. It's very interesting how we started collecting data, why data science is important, what is causation, is there any relationship between causation and I'm sorry, is there any correlation between, what was it, the causation and the other one is um, casualty, I'm sorry. But yeah, should be interesting. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I think that's all I have for today, for this week. Thank you.